Yeah, and I'm noticing, and I don't know if you notice it when you have new agents, like brand new, fresh into real estate. Are you noticing with some of them where they're trying to reinvent the wheel before they even start?
I think it's easy for people to think, oh gosh, this is exactly how I'm going to run my business and I'm going to make a change and everybody's going to, notice me, so forth.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably say that even though I was in real estate as a real estate assistant to realtors for 15 years before I ended up becoming licensed, I probably felt the same way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do this. What I can tell you, my experience as manager of the brokerage, because I teach and I train so much, and a lot of them are new realtors, is their eyes are definitely opened wide
Yeah.
when they start and realize that it's not as easy as they think it's going to be. And you cannot re-event that wheel that has worked. I think re-event and change and modify for your style
Yes.
is exactly what you should be saying.
Yes.
Because the staples in real estate are
It's
never
stable.
going to go away,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
What do I always
Makes
say,
sense.
Crystal? There's no deal tree for us to stand under and
No.
miraculously,
Yeah.
get all of these things.
Yes.
You have to pound the pavement to get the people there.
Yes.
Whether that now is social media. I'm
Mm-hmm.
really seeing a massive difference with the leads coming in by agents who are really stepping up their social media game.
Mm-hmm.
That's a full-time job in itself.
Well, and the reality is again with social media, a lot, and it can be work depending on like what you're doing. So if you're making content like video content editing, yes, that definitely is time consuming, especially while you're learning how to do it. Right? I think once you've learned how to do it, those guys can flip those videos so quickly. But generally speaking, we're all on our cell phones on social media every single day. Take 2 minutes of your time and create a post. You're on
Yep.
there anyway, right? So it's just using that couple seconds. Oh, I need to create a post. I didn't do that today. You're already on the platform. Just take a second and do something for yourself while you're on there.
Yeah, agreed. I think, if we're going to bounce right into the social media topic, as much as I think all of us older realtors who started in the business prior to the internet, we all have seen what it was like to get business prior to the internet and how it's changed for us with the blossoming of Google pay-per-click leads,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
However, I think it's really important for us as realtors to always say, where are the people? And we have to be present where the people are, the clients are, which clearly is online and clearly social media. So those of our younger ones, because I do think, please don't hate me, the older people out there, I'm 56, I'm older. I think as we see some of the newer ones be able to engage their phones a whole lot better and quicker
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and more proficiently, they know the apps with very quicker than it takes me to figure out how to use TikTok. I said this a month ago when we did it.
Mm-hmm.
Still trying to figure that out. Like, OMG, what the heck?
Yeah.
But when this morning we did real estate over coffee.
Yeah.
This is where with our brokerage, over Zoom, we all have coffee. We talk about market updates, da, 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 da. And I asked some of our realtors on there, how are you finding your social media presence and what you have coming in? One of our realtors that was on there has been in the business 2 years. She's in her mid 20s, early 20s. And I'm telling you, she's been in our top 10 more than once in our brokerage. And her social media is on point, and the people that she's getting from it saying, can we have a buyer appointment with you? Can you come give us a price on your home, is mind blowing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think is really important, Crystal, for all of us as realtors to go, okay, we may not like this or feel comfortable with this change, where the buyers and sellers are.
Yeah.
But we still have to figure out a way to do it so that we can still attract people that way.
Yes, absolutely.
Remarkable.
And I think it's the transition over the years of real estate in general. We have to adapt to change. So, before there was realtor.ca, there was newspapers, right? So then you had to adapt to often being an online world of people looking at listings and doing that. And maybe the newspapers weren't as effective. So then we had to change what we're doing in that perspective, right? And then now it's changing and evolving just a little bit further with respect to that online world. And I imagine it's going to go even further than that, right? So,
my gosh.
It's like,
it is. Yeah. What is it going to be like when we're all passed on? What's the new? Is this the Jetsons time, right? Who knows? But I think that for us as realtors, I think that trying to make ourselves adapt to just always being present and in front of where the people are. I think that's what helps keep your business sustainable. And I also don't think that if you look at somebody and you think that their particular social media is unbelievable, fantastic. If you feel you're not posting like the other people, I don't think that matters. I think you just need to have some sort of real estate content. Because what you're going to draw and what somebody who's 21 is going to draw, you're still going to have people that are going to look at you as very busy realtors because you're constantly posting about real estate.
Yeah.
And that's what made a big change in my business quite a few years ago. Even though I was always good at converting the leads, I also knew that I've got 4 pillars of my business and I got to bring in leads from all of my 4 pillars. And that's where I kind of looked and went, well, I got to step up this game. So I just started regularly taking a little bit away from the personal posting and posting the majority about business in some general, even if you're just sharing a colleague's listing.
Yeah.
Still shows people that you're working in the business, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Because you got to imagine all the people in your friends list. Some of them are closer friends. Some of them are acquaintances. Some of them you don't even know at all. But I'm going to say the majority of people, even sometimes what you would consider a friend, don't actually know what you do for a living. Right. And so by posting that, and that's a simple thing, or if you're not, comfortable just being direct and telling everyone that you're a realtor, doing things like that, offer that, that knowledge to those that look at your post that you are a realtor, you are in the industry. Yeah. Right. So.
Yeah, agreed. Please do it. I'll tell you what I decided to do, because I can sit forever and try to figure out how to use TikTok. It is mind-blowing to me. Instagram and all that stuff, I feel like I've got that somewhat down. I decided maybe about a month ago to kind of go, okay, I definitely feel like I need somebody to do this for me, because I'm a person with a plan. I've always ran my real estate business, how I do my leads, how I do my farming, all of that I've always ran with time blocking, and every day something is being done for my business. Then I'm finding that I'm starting to get stressed because I'm trying to find content to share on social media. And that is a big pillar of my business too. So I decided to go outside and find a company who does social media content. And I felt like previous to that, everybody, I was using the curated socials and so forth. I tried those. But now I'm finding that all the realtors under the sun were all posting the same thing, because the content is only so much per month. Yeah. You spend, I think it was $90 every 90 days or something like that for this program. And then I just kind of went, that's not for me. If I'm going to post something, I don't want it to be the same post as 20 other realtors on my feed, just with a different banner. This particular company, what they do is they do photo shoots, video shoots with myself and my team once a month. We meet at a location. The locations can change. They had a variety of different packages. It was not an arm and a leg. And I'm one to spend money on my business, but I'm certainly not one to overspend until I feel like it's worth it. I need to see the product before I go, okay, now I'm going to invest more, maybe up my package or whatever. And I will be honest, we've now got our first visuals coming out from the photo shoot that we did. And I have had so much reaction to these things. And the company goes on, does all the wording, does all the hashtags. I do approve it ahead of time because this has to come from me. But what a difference it has made in me going, that part I'm now given to an expert, and now I continue to feed my funnel with my other pillars. And it's something that I'm happy to share. You know, their website, I can send it to you later. But I think it's something to kind of think about as your business starts to grow, about leveraging out and letting the experts.
Yeah, it's where you want to be spending your time and focused on, right? Are you focusing on being great at marketing and advertising, or are you trying to sell houses, right? Working with clients and getting those houses sold, or bought, either way. And then there is so many, and that what's great from what you're saying is that it's like a customized one. It's not generic, right? Like you're saying, like so many companies out there, and I understand the draw for everyone that signs, like, what is it, like something right at you, media, something like that, where it's constantly posting just like articles and it's basically all it is articles. But the downside of that is that all of those articles, you're increasing the organic SEO of all of those articles. Right. You are doing nothing for your business with those articles. You're driving traffic to everyone's website except for your own.
I think it's a good start.
It's a good start because it covers something for you, right? And the cost is attractive, from what I believe. I know Agent Locator also does that, where they will create custom graphics and create posts for you as well. So that's something to look into, because again, I don't know everything that's entailed with that, but it's, again, for those individuals that don't necessarily have time to be doing all of those things, right? So but then also even simple things with like those articles, you're seeing a lot of the articles that have to do with real estate. You know what you want to share with people, generally speaking. If you have the opportunity, just put in a blog post on your website and share that blog on your social page, because then you're driving everyone to your website to read that article.
I mean, I think that the hardest part, I think, for a lot of people, and you guys feel free to give us your opinion. We're really seeing the trend now go to the videos. We're really seeing the return, and I hear this a lot because I'm very much into the back end analytics. The return of leads going forward is greater when you take the time to do a very quick video. As Gary, one of the owners of our company, says, post it and ghost, post and ghost. Like, don't worry about my hair. Is my hair okay?
That's what I do. I'm like, good enough, post it. Okay, I'm just going to forget.
And that's what he always says. And there's a reason for that. As people get more and more creative, and this is where we go back to reinventing the wheel again. No, we don't reinvent the wheel, but we do kind of have to go up with our game. And I do think the posting and so forth is absolutely important, as long as you're not doing the same post. You're just one of every 1,000 realtors covering the same thing because that's the new pick of the day. But I think there's something to be said about taking a few seconds and sharing your real estate life via a video, a blog, whatever that is. I think you're going to attract more people. The bottom line is this: we want to drive people to our agent locator, right? What a better way to drive somebody is when you do these. You say in your vlog, whatever your landing page is, whether or not it's the unbranded or the branded, what a better way to bring people into your dashboard by doing something that's driving them back to you, as opposed to, like you said, another article where now their SEO is going right over.
Yeah, they're going up, and it's I see them. There's not so common as much anymore. I haven't seen, but it's funny because it'll bring them to like realtor.com, American websites, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or other sites that have ad spots, and boom, now you're advertising another realtor right on from your Facebook page. I'm like, do you really want
to watch that? Thank you for bringing that up, because it's really easy to read the first line of an article and think, Korea just announced A, but not realizing that that's a very small portion of what the article was, integrated into an entirely different website, which now basically is doing clickbaits and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so
exactly, right?
It is true. And what I liked about this particular company that I've just hired is I got to the point where I didn't want to have the same content as everybody, and they focus on us.
Yeah.
This is about the team. This isn't even just about Tara. Each of the team members get a photo shoot every single month, get videos done with them, because it's important for them to brand them along with our team website. So that's kind of it's food for thought for a lot of people on where to go. But I want to ask everybody, I heard a phrase this morning, because I'm very into self-learning. Mm-hmm. And it caught me, and I thought, this is really super incredible. And I think as realtors, as commission-based earners, we have to recognize this. So if you don't make a plan, you are planning to fail. So how important it is for us to know exactly how we're going to work our 4 pillars of our business. It all starts with a plan, right? Is that plan social media one day? Is that plan this? We have to do it, right? That's why you and I were talking earlier. Are we going to chat about farming? Are we going to chat about, the lead gen? Are we going to chat about the drip campaign? We have to have a plan to run our real estate business.
Yeah. Any business, really. Can't just open the doors and wing it. Yeah. You have a business plan, right? Every business has a business plan.
Yeah. But when I have an agent that comes to me and says, I'm really, I haven't done any business and I'm thinking about giving up, and we all feel that way. My first question to them is, show me your business plan. What are your 4 pillars of your business? What are you doing every day to work your 4 pillars of your business? And 99% of them will go, oh, well, I haven't done a business plan, or I haven't looked at it, because it really starts with that plan and then being committed to it.
No, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. And having those plans or things in place. And I know for a lot of people, is just physically going somewhere. So physically going to the office makes you feel more productive with what you're doing. I know when I, years ago, being at home, I couldn't do it. Like when you're your own boss, no one's holding you accountable for anything but it's only yourself. It's very hard for many people to do that. And I would always get distracted because I didn't really feel like doing what it was that I knew I was supposed to be doing. So I'd find excuses not to do those things. So I found that just getting up and going to the office, even if it was just for a couple hours, made me feel like I was accomplishing something. And I was accomplishing a lot more in like a few hours than I would all day at home.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's true. I think that if at the very minimum, and everybody here, we've got such a great turnout. Thank you all for being part of this, but everybody's got their own brokerage. And I think that it's really important for realtors to at least go to the office or participate in the training programs. It's really easy for us to do everything on Zoom. Crystal, I would be in heaven right now if you and I were actually doing this live in front of a group. Because I do believe that have the success that we want to have in life, and everybody's different, that one-on-one, that group, that feeding off each other is 1 in a million. And as much as Zoom makes it really, really easy for us to all get together, look at everybody here, it's so amazing. If you guys can actually step foot into your brokerage, take part of the one-on-one trainings and so forth, you'll see that business become so much bigger.
Oh yeah. You start to
what you want, right?
Yeah. Well, I find like too, you just start to build relationships with the people that you actually work with. You know, you're not just seeing them periodically, you're seeing them consistently. But it also builds that relationship where you feel comfortable reaching out to your fellow colleagues, just, you know, asking simple questions or getting feedback or thoughts or ideas off of that. So you start to collaborate. And like you said, if we were doing this in person, there'd be a lot of discussion. We wouldn't be the only ones talking, right? There would be everyone in the room kind of piping up, right? So it's a lot. It's more intimate when you're in person than you are when you're just doing everything online or through a phone call or through a meeting online.
And I think too, it's easy when we're behind the scenes in our home at our desks. It's really easy for us too to get down. And to feel like, oh my goodness, I'm spinning my wheels and nothing's coming together and I can't take this anymore. That's where I think as well, when you kind of feed off another realtor and you're face to face, or maybe you're working from the brokerage, whatever that is, you know, to have somebody standing in front of you and saying, yeah, I get it. I feel like that at times too, but then I kick my ass and I get back out there and I door knock again or whatever.
Yeah.
Then that feeling like you're not alone is such a great feeling to kind of take you to another level, right? We all have to have our butts kicked once in a while. I mean, we're human.
Yeah.
I think that it's up to each and every one of us because we decided to become realtors. We chose this profession to do everything that we can to continue to remain positive during a very difficult time, right? But I will start saying, if we're going to talk about leads at all, wow, a lot of conversations with the leads. There's a lot of stuff happening. Every single week, I'm out with another new lead who's now ready. So there's kind of this buzz going on in the air.
There's a shift. There's definitely been a shift.
For a bit.
And even Sunny had noticed that the campaigns, just like all of a sudden, people are now searching that much more. There's a little bit more confidence with respect to interest rates. So there's definitely that switch that's happening right now. So if you guys might notice it with your campaigns, you might start to notice, you know, a little bit more leads coming in just because of the amount of people searching. So
good to know. They're conversing very well. I'm always monitoring my leads. Like, okay, the people that I currently have in the car, are they newer leads? Are they older leads? And sometimes it does change. You know, sometimes I'm showing a lot of houses and those are leads that are 6 months or longer. I'm noticing now a lot of the new leads are like, hey, Tara, we just landed. Can we talk to you? Can we see houses? Much more. So there's definitely a sense of urgency that's happening. And there's a lot of factors involved. I will tell you, we're seeing, of course, in the GTA, a lot more bidding wars starting again. Right. But I will tell you, interviewed last night for the podcast that I'm going to be on. One of them was a mortgage broker. It's called Professional Risk Takers. If you guys aren't following them, please do. And it was very interesting to hear early this morning as well in another meeting I was in about what is happening with people that are now having to renew their mortgages. We're talking about people, if they had a 5-year term, 5 years ago were at a very low mortgage rate, and now they're renewing this year. And a lot of them are not able to afford what their now new mortgage payment is going to be.
Yeah.
So the prediction for everybody, if anybody hasn't heard this already, is in the next few weeks, we may start to see a high rise of inventory because sadly, there is going to be a number of people that may not be able to afford their mortgages. I'm going to take a step back, Crystal.
Yes.
A seller of mine, we took their house off the market around December. I think it was after, oh no, I lied, beginning of January.
Yeah.
It was a waterfront property. So it was like, okay, let's just take a break. A very unique one. So he was in the process of renewing his term. He's just renewed it. Now his mortgage payment has gone up almost $500 a month. And he owes very little. And what I found out, he's now paying for a tiny, tiny mortgage, made me sick to my stomach. That is the difference of 5 years to now. So I think we're going to start seeing a lot more inventory. And as we know, more inventory means an end to the bidding wars as well. It's very interesting times we're in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see if they're, no, I don't understand all the economics around raising everything and creating, this, because what's sad is those people that may be in a certain mortgage, that they can no longer afford that, is that they're now going backwards. Right? Because if they can't afford their home at the current price that they're refinancing at, that means that they're forced to downsize.
Yeah.
Right. Or they're forced out of the market.
Yeah. And the interesting thing, and guys, please feel free to give your take. What worries me for people in this situation is, okay, let's say they do have to get rid of their home because they can't afford it. At the end of the day, how are they going to afford rent? Yeah. Because rent is not cheap.
It's more expensive than.
I feel like in this situation that we're seeing, and we'll see how it plays out, it can be a lose-lose.
Yeah.
For people that are forced to have to sell. I think that's why it's really important for us as realtors going forward with our past clients, our sphere of influence, as well as our leads, to kind of always make sure that we're doing a check-in, as I like to call it. We just want to let you know that we do work with preferred partners. If you do have questions, is your variable too much right now? Are you worried? Will you qualify for your renewal? I think it really shows our leads, all of our people, that we're trying to stay one step ahead in helping them also stay in the home. And then if they have to leave their home, they'll remember us, that we were there to kind of guide them along the way.
Yes.
So, kind of figuring out an email that kind of goes like a check-in email, how are you doing? If you need somebody, I can pass along a name. I think it's important. I think our job is to also help people stay in their homes, not just
to,
In this particular case, I was supposed to relist his home, and we had a real heart-to-heart at the beginning of the week, and seeing what we could get for it. Even though his mortgage had gone up significantly, he could afford it still, but it was causing him stress. But then the market hasn't come up enough for you to be able to make another move that would make sense, because you're still going to be buying high, but your property right now, because of he doesn't have a basement, we're only going to I felt very honored to say to him, as long as you can afford your mortgage, I think you need to stay put for a little longer. It would have been easy for me to say, let's get you out. But what am I going to do on the buy end when, so, isn't it funny? Our job is to sell their homes, but I feel like our job is also to help them stay.
Yeah. Well, you're finding them a home, right? As much as and we anticipate home is where you want to be for a long time.
Yes.
For many, many people. Of course, being a realtor, you want people to sell as many times as possible or move, right? But it's also, having the many hats of your position, right? So we're going to find you that home that you can stay, like your forever home, right? And it's, again, your therapists, your realtors, you're so many different things when it comes to, but not only that, when you're telling somebody that kind of advice, where, you know what, I think you should stay, it's in your best interest right now to stay put, that builds so much confidence and trust in that relationship right there, because he now knows you're not just after, his wallet at this point, you're after his best interest.
Yeah. And I mean, listen, at the end of the day, referrals should be a big part of our plan, right? You have to have a plan. I would much rather get a referral from these people than go to bed at night going, oh my God, I just sold his house. He has nowhere to live, can't afford, I'm always trying to look in my real estate career at the bigger picture. As much as we still need to convert deals and we need to make it happen, there are times that we need to be open and honest and say, I think you need to stay put. I am one of those, and I wear that hat very, very proudly. I am that realtor. I cannot recommend somebody sell if it financially doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But stay on top of your people with people renewing, because what my fear is, as we saw in the early 90s, what my fear is, so many people wait too long. They can't pay their mortgage and they'll wait until that very last minute where the bank is now going, nope, now we're taking it over. And that's where we don't want it to go power of sale. I'd rather, say, okay, you can't do it. Let's get in and sell it. Let's tell the bank you're listed. Let's get you the equity before it goes that.
Yeah. It goes down that road.
It's food for thought, everybody.
Yeah. Burgess is asking, my renewal is coming up too, and very little is left now. Should I pay all? Sorry, I would think maybe you're wondering if you should just pay it all off rather than.
Hi, Gail. Oh, yeah. Like, listen, I'm not here to give you mortgage advice. Yeah, I don't know. But you know what? Reach out to your lender for sure. You definitely need to ask. I'm a big believer of, if you can be mortgage free, but double check for sure. Thank you for asking.
Yeah. And then what do we have in the chat here? Gail's just saying, I totally agree with that. We have to work for our clients, even if that means staying put.
Yeah.
And again, it's those referrals, right? So when you give those people those positive experiences where they can truly trust and count on your opinion, that's when your name just keeps coming out of their mouth.
Yes.
It's like my mechanic. Anyone asks for a mechanic, his name is just coming out of my mouth because he's just amazing. He never takes advantage, right? He won't even charge you if he can't. Like, there's so many different things that just make him really great, but that's what he doesn't do any advertising. He's a small little, shop that he doesn't have to do anything, because the amount of people that refer this guy, and you can see it in like Facebook groups that we have in the area of people looking for mechanic, how many times people refer him, speaks volumes. Right? Because obviously, like, that's all he has to do. And he's always busy. That button, the door is always moving.
Well, that's an interesting thing. I mean, as realtors, we hear this a lot. You really have two choices. Are you going to be a transactional realtor? Or are you going to be a relationship building realtor? Most of us will always choose the relationship one, because we want the referrals and we want all that back. And I think that as we're creating that plan for our business, because if we don't have a plan, we'll fail, then we need to think about, what are we doing to build those referrals? And of course, it starts with being open, honest, and ethical. But what else are you doing for these people to bring in the referrals? What are you doing for your leads, aside from your drip campaign and so forth, to show them that they can refer you, right? There's so much power in what we send our leads. And let's just talk about agent locator leads. The power of that drip campaign that you send out to them is absolutely, it's platinum, right? So when we converse with our leads in such a way, the leads will then refer us. And that's what's happened to me beyond dozens of times. And I think that, creating that plan with how we're going to create our referral network, how we're going to show people that even if they haven't used us like a lead, right, they can still feel confident in referring me is huge in this business. I mean, what a blessing to have somebody that's never physically met you, but you've made such an impact over email.
Yeah.
Which isn't easy to do.
No.
For you. You have so much power available at your fingertips to convert and get business, to fill that funnel, Crystal. And too many of us get frustrated or impatient, and we now step back.
Yeah.
Right? And you're missing such a huge opportunity, because you can build a relationship real estate business simply by emails if you do it right. Right?
Yeah.
And I mean, that's an interesting take. I would love to see what some people do, because I think that in this business, there are so many facets that we have to work on.
There is. And there's a lot of people that, are now with everything, and everything's just changing and evolving, is we get a lot of people that have never had to do any kind of lead generation because their business has almost always been just referral based.
Yeah.
Right. So, and now they're noticing a little bit of a shift in that, or maybe they want to be a little bit more productive. It could be either in the demographics, people just stop moving as frequently, just different things like that. So they're now coming in and starting to do lead generation. But there's a lot of people that, it's almost interesting to say, okay, what were you doing for all these years that got you so much referrals that you could live off of them? Right?
It's very interesting that you say that, because a lot of agents do have a referral-based business. What I've been seeing, oh my goodness, since probably the start of COVID, I've been seeing a lot of those agents. I'm just going to talk about the ones that I physically know.
Yeah.
Or those that have reached out to me through my coaching company. I've seen a lot of them say, okay, 22 years in, referral only, looks like I got to start doing leads. You can't run a real estate business and have a consistently sustainable business with only having one pillar.
Yeah.
The well runs dry.
Yes.
Right. And guess what? You're going to move people and you're going to sell them a home that they don't want to move from.
Yes.
And I don't want to do business with my people once every 30 years, now I'm getting older. Condo,
exactly. Yeah.
That's why it's so important to have those 4 consistent pillars, those 4 things that you're using to feed your funnel. And then you'll always get business from all of them. And that's why we talked about at the beginning when we were talking about social media. Sometimes these pillars do mean that we have to step outside our comfort zone.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. Look at this. It would be easy for me to stay with what I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make business sense. It doesn't. I chose this commission salesperson business. I chose this life. So I have to do whatever it takes to keep bringing in business. That's how it is for me. And I would recommend that everybody kind of think that way. Having a referral business is really great, Crystal. It is such a blessing. But now in this day and age, they are all coming back to the online leads.
Yeah.
Right. And I still think, and I teach this at our brokerage, I still believe that online leads should be a major pillar of every single realtor's business, because again, that's where people are.
Yes.
Even I don't open up my manual in my car to find any answers.
I know, it's to go on your phone.
Whatever. I'm like Googling, what does it mean when my car does this?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, guilty. So that's what I think is really important is always having those four. And not everybody's four is going to be the same.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
Not everybody. Maybe
Yes.
social media is going to be somebody's four.
Yeah. They could have, there's
Yep.
there's a lot of different creative ways, and sometimes it's not even in commonplace. Like if you have a niche, there's one of our clients here, he's part of this like a supercar club. So he's naturally drawing people that have lots of money. Yeah. And he's like the only really, but he gets a lot of referrals because they just know him from this forum that they all contribute to, as he's also a realtor, right? So that's one kind of target that he works on a lot because he gets good business from there. And they're people that are relatable, right?
Yeah.
They share a common interest. So if any of you guys have, any extracurricular things that you do or things that you enjoy, kind of look for those little niche groups, even on social media, wherever, that you can then kind of participate in. And, you start to work with people that you share those common interests, and it's that much easier to connect with them.
Yeah.
So you just mesh. You have that one thing you have in common, maybe more. It's easy to talk to because that could be the starting point of a conversation with someone.
You're 100% correct. I think being involved in your community, whatever it is, whether it's volunteering or you're like this guy, whether it's a car club, whatever, it only makes sense when you are commission sales based. So you're fulfilling your hobby, you're fulfilling your dream. The interesting thing about being a realtor, which I learned very early on, was everybody wants to talk to you about real estate. Right? Yeah. You don't even have to bring it up.
Yeah.
You don't have to say, oh, by the way, did you know? They know, right? Yeah. Especially if they're on your social media, they know, right?
Oh, for sure.
So when you involve yourself in these clubs, somebody is always going to say, so what's going on in the market? What's happening here? What's happening there? And that's just a beautiful way for you to continue to get referrals. I don't know where Crystal is.
I'm right here. Okay. Sorry, my camera turned off. I'm trying to figure it out.
I swear she does this to me on purpose. To see if I'm watching.
Are you actually paying attention? No, hold on.
Recorded.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm just here spontaneously responding. Yeah.
I love that. And maybe that's something, if you guys haven't done a business plan yet, I really, really tell you need to. But look at something. Are you already involved in a club? Are you already, you could be a sponsor for one of their events, yes. There's so much that you could do. And I think it's such a great way to get your name out there, as well as doing something for the community, because everybody wants to talk about real estate.
Yeah.
Everybody. I mean, it's nauseating sometimes. Where sometimes you actually maybe don't want to talk about it, but you have to.
Yeah. And Chandra, I know everyone's 4 pillars might be slightly different. What are your 4 pillars? Because we've had 2 people ask right now. What are the 4 pillars that you specifically focus on for your business?
Okay. So my 4 pillars are my sphere of influence. And I want to talk about sphere of influence. Sphere of influence is a list that should constantly be added onto. So sphere, everybody knows what that is. Sphere of influence is people that you know, right? But people that you know isn't just people that you're friends with, right? Maybe you know your neighbor. Maybe you've gotten to know your neighbor's son because they've dropped over for a visit. Maybe it's the garage station that you go to, your mechanic that Crystal was just talking about. That's Crystal's sphere. And every single week, you should be adding new names to your sphere. So my sphere has people like the gas station attendant, where I always go every morning on my way in for my commute. He's now on my pop by list. I've introduced himself. His name's John. On my sphere of influence in my real estate CRM, it's John at the Ultramar gas station. That's what I have him under. So that's one. Of course, my second pillar is my past clients. So anybody that I've done a deal with, that's my second pillar. People that I currently have in the car with me, people that are my buyers. If I've had somebody where I've given them a price on their home, they're folded into my past client pillar. Then, of course, I have my leads. So my lead pillar is pillar number 3. And this is not in order of importance. But pillar number 3 for leads takes in anybody that I meet at an open house, my online leads, my realtor.ca leads, that. So they all go into my 3rd pillar. And my 4th pillar is farming. I still door knock. I still flyer drop. Anybody I get from that, that's a pillar that I work. Now, social media will go into, for me, I really don't want to add pillar 5. But social media, I've now thrown into my leads pillar.
Yeah.
And that's just how my business is run. Those 4 pillars I work every single week. Most of them I work every day. And then they're the ones that feed my funnel.
And you could take those 4 pillars, and those 4 pillars could have pillars of their own, right? So your online has its own pillars to what that online actually means.
Yeah, there's little branches that you can do. And then if you really got technical every single week, in my lead pillar, there's going to be a branch for agent locator, a branch for open houses, a branch for realtor.ca. And then you can kind of always target what did I get from them at the end of the year. When you have those pillars, everybody, the bonus it is for you is at the end of the year when you review where all your deals came from, it shows you right in front of you, black and white, where you've been most productive in your business. So that's a good thing on 2 levels. Where you've been most productive is where you're going to need to continue to throw your money into the next year, maybe even a bit more. But it also gives you a self-check on, okay, I wasn't as productive in these extra pillars. I might need to bump it up a little bit. I might need to give them a little bit more Atera. They're never going to be evenly distributed at the end of the year. It's impossible. But huge, huge. Would never run my business without that.
I think a lot of people do. They try to, I should say.
I hope
try
so.
to.
Yeah.
So Saket here is saying that use RoomView, and they offer a post videos, including own videos, articles, weekly newsletter, Facebook, Instagram lead gen ads to their autopilot schedule, all on your social platforms. But for me, leads are still coming through Agent Locator, Google PPC, and RoomView is just to promote market presence. So he's using his online leads and then using RoomView for market presence.
Okay. Yeah. I looked into RoomView. I thought their platform was really interesting. I never did sign up for it, but I think it's great. That their content is fantastic.
City Blast. Yeah. So that City Blast is one of the ones that does all the social marketing. That's convenient. They post, but again, it's posting to it's articles to other websites.
Yep.
Very convenient, 100%. What is it? Saskia is saying, you are superhuman to be able to do what you state. I have spent the last 2 days just reading through a pre-sale contract and developer disclosure.
Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Yeah.
But the joys. It's the nitty gritty of the stuff. With every job there is out there, there is always an aspect of it that you don't fully enjoy. For me, it's going through all my stats. That's my thing. It's time consuming. It's boring. It serves a purpose. And no, it has to get done. Yeah. But it's very dry. It's not exciting, right? And so every profession has some sort of aspect to it that's like, well, it's not really the funnest part of my job to do this.
Listen, there's stuff in my career that, thank you for your compliment. I appreciate that greatly. But, it's not all roses and butterflies, like when I've got to sit down and work one of my pillars or a couple of them, I mean, I'm kicking and screaming. Like, I'm like swearing in my head, like, I don't want to do this. This is painful. Why am I doing, but the bottom line is, as we discussed last night in the podcast I did, I'm the one that chose this career. I'm the one that said, if I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to give it my all. And I don't want to not do it 100%, because then if I don't have business, I only have myself to blame.
Yeah.
And I don't want to feel that way. So I have learned, because I started in real estate in 1991, I've learned that I feel better about my business when I'm working the 4 pillars of my business, when I'm working on my business, which then leads me to work in my business. Even if that means that I'm not doing a deal every week, because it doesn't happen. It's not like I'm producing 10 deals, a day, it's work, but I feel better at the end of the day that I have given everything I could to my real estate career. If I'm just sitting and watching TV, if I'm just out walking my dog all day and haven't done anything for my business, I don't feel good about that. I don't feel good about that for my buyers, my sellers, or for any potential leads. And that's what motivates me, is I just want to feel like I've given it 100%. And when you give 100%, you get it back.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think, kind of bringing into this one topic that you kind of ended your email with here, is with respect to the lead. So again, it kind of falls into, when you put it in, you get it back, with you indicating that you're noticing that realtors are getting fed up too quickly with their online leads. Most
definitely. Yeah, most definitely. And that's always been a fear when I've coached realtors for the online leads. A lot of them have come to me in the past because, they're no good, they're this, they're that. And I'm very, listen, I've got red flags that start as soon as somebody says to me the leads are no good. And my question back to them is, if your leads are no good, then what you're giving them is no good. And then it turns into a conversation. My experience has always been, you guys can definitely go watch some of our further past videos, but my experience with online leads, and I've been using Agent Locator since 2016. Prior to that, I was buying them, the Google leads from other companies. As I've said, you guys probably are going to hate that I'm saying this again, I recognize that every lead has their own time. I recognize that this is not my show. This is their show. They've logged in. They wanted to see listings. I'm giving them listings, and I'm giving them a beautiful email drip campaign that encourages them to communicate with me. My experience with my leads has always been that there's leads right away that want to jump in the car, as I'm kind of experiencing now. But the hundreds of thousands of dollars I have made, hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe millions. Wouldn't it be wonderful if I actually added up millions? It would be millions. Math that I've made in my career. So much of that has been from leads that sometimes were 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old, the longest one, 10. And when they were ready not only for one property to sell, but multiple. So as much as I stayed in communication, they got my newsletters, they got everything from me for 10 years. That year they were ready to rock and roll. There was $1 million in GCI just for those people. So why would you ever say the leads are no good? I'm living proof that they are.
Yes.
Right? Yep. They're no good if they come on to Agent Locator and you don't do anything with them. They're no good if you decide too early that you're going to delete them because they haven't answered your 25 phone calls
Yeah.
in 2 days, right? Think about it. I treat the leads as I want to be treated. Don't pressure me. You pressure me, I'm out. But I'm certainly, if you're constantly staying in touch with me, I'll use you when I'm ready. And that's why I'm successful.
Yeah, it's being patient with the process, and also with, you know, if you guys haven't looked at it, it's the lead conversion course. A lot of those scripts in there, but it's asking the right questions. So sometimes we'll look, and we're doing trainings, and I'll go through notes because I'm trying to help them, you know, categorize and filter their leads, you know, get organized nonetheless. And I'll see a lot of, I'm not interested, not interested, not interested. And I was like, what are you saying to these people that they're all not interested in it? Right. So you have to, you know, again, it's kind of reevaluating what you're saying that's getting that response. Because clearly you're asking a question that is, it could be more sales approach, like a sales tactic, it could be whatever it is, but clearly people don't like it. So they're saying they're not interested. So they've already signed up on your website. They're already getting listings from you. So we shouldn't be asking them that question if they're interested in the listings because they already signed up for that. Right. So we want to, again, and I know, Terry, you do it a little bit differently than what, you know, standard, I guess, practice in lead generation would be, or what we would commonly see in lead generation. But again, it's just building those relationships, and it kind of does fall back into your being patient. This is their show. They'll move when they're ready to move. They're not going to move because we want them to move.
Yeah.
Right.
My philosophy has always been, when they're ready, I want them to now remember the name Tara Baylis. Because that's the biggest thing. No, I very seldom delete or archive people. I
Keep
used
them.
to be a heavy, please don't, please keep, unless they tell you, that's a different story. Some people, if they want to leave or not have listings, I believe in respecting what they're telling me. I'm not a heavy phone caller, but I am a person that does call. And I have consistently varied my techniques. My email drip campaign relatively runs the same. It does get tweaked, usually every other month. I'm very, very cautious of what new trends are that I need to update my email drip campaign. But my phone calls that I make are super soft. I don't want to give them any reason to tell me they're not interested or don't call me again. So when I make a phone call to my leads, it's simply to thank them for coming on the site and tell them I appreciate it. And if there's anything you need, this is my cell phone. And that way, they're comfortable with my voice. So, you know, when you're doing the phone calls, and I do think there are some of our leads that do need to talk to you on the phone. You know,
absolutely.
People do really want that as opposed to the emails. And the only way you know is if you make the call. But think about it. I don't want to call them and give them a reason to say no to me right away. When I call them just to say, hey, listen, it's Tara from begintosearch.com. There's actually a live person behind that email that you're getting. I just want to thank you for coming on. You know, here's my number if you ever need me. Yeah.
And that's exactly like the same idea as like your check-ins. So if you guys are doing your follow-ups with these people, because you could be following up with them every week or every month or every 6 months, right? So, and that's exactly what your check-in should be, is just soft, thankful. Is there anything I can do for you right now? It just keeps yourself top of mind. And then also going back onto archiving, I would say 100% not, because every single lead you generate is going to transact. Every single one of them. It's just a matter of when they're going to transact and with who they transact with. Right. So as long as we're doing our part of nurturing them, then you're increasing the chances that when that time comes, they're going to use you for that transaction.
Or could they refer you?
They could very well.
So before we sign off, one of the largest deals I have done to this day in Agent Locator, GCI, I mean, like my
Mhm.
gross commission, was
Mhm.
with a lead who was on my system for about 3 years, who to this day I still have never done a deal with or met her face to face. But she loved my drip campaign and how I was so soft that she referred me to her nephew, who bought a house with me. He then referred me to his dad, who then bought an investment property with me. They also, a year later, bought a cottage with me, and they also sold their house. Now, this was 10 years ago for $1.3 million with me, all within 2 years. The lead to this day, never done a deal with, never met her. Did get her address and I sent her flowers, right?
Yes.
So this is why Tara doesn't delete, because at the end of the day, it's not just about the lead, it's about who the lead knows.
Yes, absolutely. You never know who somebody knows,
I love
right?
it.
And sometimes you get those rental leads and you're like, oh, I don't want to do a rental lead, because some of you choose, like, that you just don't want to do those. But, refer them to someone who will take them for one. But that rental lead, that person that's looking for a $3,000 condo, could be the child of someone that has very deep pockets.
Yes.
You just never know. Like in your case, you just never know who people actually know or what their sphere looks like.
It's true.
Right?
And that's just one, like that's just one referral that I've had with my leads. So
Yeah.
I try to tell, now if a lead says to me, take me off, I'm, whatever, I do like that. There's other people that will call them to make sure that they are, that they haven't hit the opt-out button by accident, and to each their own. I'm all about, you got to do you, but having these online leads is truly a blessing, but it starts right here. It starts with you believing that you're now being introduced to people that you never in a million years would have ever had the opportunity to meet and know you as a realtor. And that's where my passion is with all of my pillars of my business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Great session.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for participating or jumping in on the webinar today. Thanks, Tara, as always. And we will collectively gather and prepare for next session, perhaps, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome.
Start with the plan, right?
Awesome. Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Care. Bye, guys.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter to everyone.
Easter. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye now.